Everybody, this is an old school video that is still relevant today, right? And it shows you how far the BC is still falling. And one of the things that I want you to pay attention to is not only its relevance, right? But the fact that this is the one on the original Reluctant Nabi channel that these women tried to have hidden because it exposes a lot about the religion, the women, and the wickedness that is so ingrained into the BC. So pay attention to this.
Hey, brothers and sisters, let me greet everybody real quick. Havorten Hardugudag Ola Oite the Bang Vasas Los Bonjimizmi Kedabawani Kunichiwa. Ni hao ni ama Sani Bonani Jambo Habarigani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. Alright, this video right here is just a live shot that I did, and I wanted to post it on YouTube. I did it on Facebook, wanted to post it on YouTube because it is important. Y'all pay attention to what's going on. All right. Oh, by the way, this is how they dress in church now. All right. And you see the simp mentality. These females know exactly what they're doing. All right. But we'll get into that little in a minute. I just wanted to remind you, let's get those thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. My Cash App and my PayPal me will be in the description box along with my email. All right. They are trying to keep us from telling the truth, and they're trying to do it in sneaky ways. YouTube is. So it's up to us to support the people that's telling the truth. All right. Question is, how many people are willing to do that? Now, don't give if you don't have it, and you take care of yourself and family first. Always. All right. So let's get into what's really going on.
Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Um, Dang. That's all I got to say is dang. Dang, 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 dang. All right. Let me wait. Hold on for a second. Let me get some folks on here, see who's up in here. All right. I really don't know who's going to be up in here. So I'm going to just push the thing because I know this is kind of late. All right. But it's kind of late because my frustration is just so great in dealing with these old, worn out, weak-minded dudes. All right. And when I say that this is shameful, how weak-minded these dudes are, how lazy they are. Okay, how lazy they are. Let's just say that this was a bad day at the gym. Okay, what's up, Kid Jackson? Simplified Apocrypha Bible. This was a bad day at the gym. As I'm going to the gym, all right, as I am going to the gym, I got into two types of argument. We're not going to call them discussions. We're going to call them what they really are, arguments. And what makes these arguments significant is that these were groups of black men. I'm not going to refer to them as Afro men. because that's just too deep for them. These were groups of black men who didn't study anything outside of getting their government contracts and stuff like that, that they tried to hold over on everybody. All right. And in this, they tried to say, I'm the one that don't know what they're talking about, when it was clear to me that these were buffoon fools who don't study, don't read anything. And when you ask them what stuff is like eugenics, they don't know, because they really don't give a damn about the community. They got their little comfy government contracts. I'm a government contractor. Whoop-de-doo. So that means I know about business. No, you don't. You know about contracting. All right. And then they were trying to figure out how I run what I do, which is I help people. All right. And so these dusty fools, if I can go there, these dusty fools decide that they're going to come together and form Voltron like little females, to the point where that's who I thought I was talking to. These grown men who can't think for themselves, right, had me thinking that I was talking to a group of henpecked females. So I just got into not a fight, but an argument with an old dude, older than us. And it was over. He's like, and I can't understand this with people. All right. How do you think that the modern English Bible is the word of God when it's a reprint of the original language? It is a translation of the original language. To think that means you believe in white supremacy. That if Caucasian people redesign the Bible, then it's all right with you. It's all right with me. I want you to understand the buffoonery, the foolishness of all of that. You got these clowns arguing with a brother that took the time to try to study and go into other languages. And not other languages, but the original language, to figure out what stuff meant. And some of y'all have vetted me. And whether you agree with the documentation or not, you agreed that the documentation is where I get my information from, and you can see what I'm talking about. And after a while and by, you start to notice that not only do I know what I'm talking about, but if I make predictions based on them documents, or if I try to give you an understanding based on them documents, you know that I'm on point. All right. So this is the problem. The biggest failure to the Afro community is these old 60-plus-year-old dudes that like, oh, well, if it's white, it's right. The biggest failure to the Afro community is these BAWs that raise their children to not study. The biggest failure is these dudes that think that because they joined the army and got a military contract. Hey, what's up, Paul? That got a military contract, they think that they're better than everybody else. And because they got their military contract,
that they know stuff that they don't know. I asked this dude, did he know about eugenics? And instead of answering like a BAW female, like a B female, what he did was he kept interrupting when somebody else was asking me a question. And when I started to address their question, he interrupted again, like a female. As a matter of fact, if you closed your eyes and looked at the interruptions, you would think you was talking to a BAW. Which made me think, okay, this dude was raised by a single mom. He's a mama's boy. He argues just like them. See, what people don't understand is not only are we tired of the BAW, but we tired of these little simps up here that are just as destructive. See, at no point did we only point out the failures of the BAW. Many of us men have consistently, let me repeat that, have consistently pointed out the failures of, yes, that's right, of these dudes and especially these elders that led people astray. So let's break something down right now. A copy, understand this, a copy is not more accurate than the original. 2, if you are a man, then you don't need Passa to tell you how to read unless you can't read. See, that's how all that Passa stuff started. They were the only ones that could read. So then you had to wholeheartedly trust them that what they were telling you were the truth when they was reading from everything. You might have been able to open up the book, but just because you opened up the book don't mean you was able to read it. All right, this is our problem. We have gotten lazy as hell as a people, where we want everybody to do everything for us, even stuff that's easily done for ourselves. Right now, y'all don't have to go and get all the books that I got to have an understanding. Y'all can go on Google and get an understanding. I have given to people copies of the Book of Enoch, Jasher, the Willie Lynch letter, and I put it down on my YouTube videos that if you want that information to be sent to you via PDF, just hit me up in my email, and I'm going to make that same offer here. All right? Our problem is, if we ain't got no booty shaker in the picture, then people aren't going to listen. If somebody with education that is brown come and tell you that something is wrong, people aren't going to listen because of my skin color. And the people I'm talking about is us. The sad part is Caucasian people can come and visit me from Brazil and sit down and listen to me and learn what I have to say. Y'all seen my credit score. All right. I was talking to these guys about how you need a credit card and how credit is the way and gold is liquid. And these imbeciles agree with each other. Oh, cash is king. Cash is king. Cash is not liquid. Cash is fiat, meaning that the government makes it up. These fools could not understand that gold is real money. Silver is real money. And then I start thinking, why is it that it is so difficult to speak to these black people? See, I ain't black. Understand? I know how the Most High created me. So don't get it twisted. I am not a black man. I have melanin. My skin tone is brown. But I am one of the Aboriginal people of these lands. It's the message that the government has been trying to hide from us. That's why they gave us a color. All right. Even Hitler himself said that these are the jewels of God. Don't the United States know who they're effing with? And this was a man that was destroying other Caucasians. Oh, don't get it twisted. If we ended up in the mix, we was getting what they got. All right. Just because he recognized don't mean he didn't believe in that supremacy stuff. All right. And here's the thing. So, what's up, Daniel? So, what happens is you got a lot of these people that want to be intellectually lazy, that don't want to do anything. I told this guy, he don't know the Bible because he's reading it in English. The original language was Hebrew Aramaic. And I give the camps at least this credit, that they make that understood. But then again, I hammer at them too, because then they say that the King James Bible is the word of God and try to make you believe that crap, not understanding different languages. All right. I'm going to challenge everybody to do this. Learn some phrases in a different language. Take any, French, German, English. Learn some phrases in a different language. And Spanish, that's a good one. Learn some phrases in a different language. After you learn some phrases to where you can say them comfortably to people, then think back on what the phrase mean in the language that you're saying it in. And then think about what that phrase mean if you were to translate word for word into English. And in many cases, you will find out that you would not be able to translate word for word into English. You will find out that in many cases, there are words for things that are not translatable because there does not exist an English word for that thing. All right. These fools can't understand that if you don't understand the original language, how are you going to understand what you're talking about in English? All right. Many of y'all know about my cancer. Many of y'all tried to tell me about this fruit, soursop. Right? What we all didn't know is when I'm in Brazil, I drink soursop all the time. But I didn't know what everybody was talking about because I did not know the fruit by the name soursop. Because soursop is not the original name of the fruit. I knew the fruit by its original name and its Brazilian name. Gravia in Brazil, Guanabara in Spanish. So, when I went to HEB and saw the fruit by its Spanish name, I then started to say, okay, well, I'll put it this way. They said the fruit exists at HEB. They got HEB in Houston, they got it in San Antonio, but they said the fruit existed in HEB. They said it's soursop. All right. I looked it up with soursop and I looked at how it looked. Right. When I went to HEB, it was not called soursop. Right. When I bought it and ate, I knew what I had. I said, oh, this is gravia or guanabara. In HEB, it's called guanabara. Right. So you see how if you don't understand the original name of something, you might not ever find it. And a lot of times the English name is not the original. Why is this so difficult for a lot of these simps to understand? These dudes you got a bunch of these dudes that are so bent on worship of something other than the Most High, dependence for guidance as grown men from someone other than themselves, that they end up looking like fools, old fools. I thought this dude was younger than me. He's way older than me because he was talking stupid. He had the nerve to think that I thought he was younger than me because he thought he looked old. No, he looked old as dirt. But most of the people younger than me look old as dirt because they do that life. They do that hard life. And I was thinking, based on how he was coming at me, he was coming at me like a dude that did not know nothing, that needed everybody to hold his hand. I was like, this dude is like, is he really, really young, but look old as hell? No, he was old. But this is like that saying, there are young fools and there are old fools. But no matter how you slice it, they're fools. Now, I've never asked none of y'all to follow me. But when I present information, right, at least I can say this, most of the people on my YouTube channel will go and research said information to see if it bears witness in their life. That's what you're supposed to do. You couldn't get this dude to even read the Bible. He said his pastor read it, and he trusts his pastor. That means you ain't no man. I don't know how you call yourself a man when you need somebody to tell you how to get an understanding from something. Really, that is really, really beyond me. How one calls themselves a man when they need understanding from another man when it's the same language. And then the dude tried to sideways insult me by saying, you know what? Yeah, that's right. You know everything, right? And I said, nope, I just know more than you. Way more than you. You see, that's that feminine comeback. That's that feminine comeback when they realize you are an intelligent person and you know some SH. Oh, you think you must know everything. You see that? Do you see what I'm saying? That's the same way females do you. I've been getting into it with these BAWs too. You know what they told me? They said, you need to get you a Caucasian woman. You need to get you a Hispanic woman. But guess who's going to be upset when brothers end up with, oh, yeah, we got proof of that already. Look at the Kobe Bryant case. Well, all these females are mad. His mom was mad because he got with a woman that cared and loved him. See, you're not allowed to do this if you're an Afro man. But these same females do cartwheels and flips when people like Serena Williams and Venus Williams get married. When Eve got married. When Meghan Markle got married. Holy cow. Understand that. But when a brother do it, all of a sudden, oh, the money's going to leave the community. Well, y'all should have thought about that when a brother with money stepped to you. This goes out to them BAWs. But see, these women don't think about that. They raise weak-minded men, and these men turn out to be terrible. All right. At the end of the day, a lot of these dudes did not want to have an understanding as to what I do. because they didn't care. They weren't even trying to prove a point because they couldn't make a point to prove. I'm sitting up here thinking, I've never seen a bunch of ignorant old dudes in my life. And here's the sad part. The Caucasian guy, I was in a sauna. The Caucasian guy in a sauna was agreeing with me. And I told the one dude, I said, you know that the Democratic platform was based on eugenics. Do you know what that is? He said, I don't need to know what it is. Who sounds like that? I don't need to know what that is. Don't that sound like a BAW? I mean, somebody tell me I'm wrong. Sound like a BAW to me. I don't need to know what that is. Brothers, that's what we are up against. For those of you that are brothers, we're up against people that are too lazy to think, too lazy to study, have the mentality of a female, but think they're men that do not care about the community. They don't care about their own children because they believe in this supremacy thing we've been talking about. Oh, they'll say they don't. But when you refuse to study, when the Caucasian people are trying to tell you that the dude knows what he's talking about, but you still argue, and then you talk bad about the smart dude to the Caucasians, trying to get them, and you think that these Caucasians agree with you? They don't. These dudes, so I left the sauna, these dudes were talking, yeah, man, he don't know what he's talking about. Talking about he got a nonprofit, which I do. But because the dude never let a person speak, always interrupted even when somebody else was answering a question, he don't know crap about what I've been trying to do. He don't know the people I've helped. He don't even care. Because like the BAW, when I told him I don't help people that much in the United States unless I'm directly helping children. He says, what you doing in the United States? Well, what are you doing anywhere? So when it became obvious that I help people in Brazil, he's like, what are you doing in the United States? If I'm helping people in the United States, he'll say, what are you doing in the rest of the world? In other words, an ever-moving goalpost, right? And I'm thinking it's really, really bad, this female-minded man that we got running around here who thinks it's their purpose to battle the good men, not realizing they're working for the same supremacy they say they're working against. Period. You know what? I didn't even greet anybody. Horvorden Hardu, Gudag, Ola Oitebe, Vasas Los, Bonjour mes amis, Kedu Bawani Konnichiwa, Ni Hao Ni Ama, to my friend out in China. Sani Bonani, Jambo Habargani, Assalamu alaikum, and Shalom. Hopefully that get everybody. It's hard to catch Brother Dwight on here. All right. So that's where we are in all of this. We are in a very dark place unless you can escape these fools. And I'm just like, wow. It's sad that some of the brothers are not going to be able to escape. That's the sad part. That some of these brothers are not going to be able to escape. All right. But we might be able to help many to escape. But escape we must. All right. Because as stuff keep happening, as things keep happening, as these things keep breaking down, all right, things are going to break down on us, and it is going to be something else. All right, things are going to break down on us. It's going to be something else. All right, so tomorrow, I'm not going to answer the phone because I get a lot of phone calls from brothers and stuff, and I'll be wanting to do a live. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a live on YouTube because I'm even there in all of this. We are the only people that are not represented by anybody in a legal profession. All right. We are the only people that are the alphabet crew. They got legals. The women, they got legal. The Caucasians, they got legal. We got a bunch of lawyers. But when injustice happens to an Afro man, there is nobody to represent. Everyone has sold out to the system that destroys Afro men. And I'm looking at all these clowns and buffoons and fools. And it's hard to fathom how grave of a case this is. That you got a lot of these fools that refuse to learn and see things outside their little space. But worse than that, they will criticize the Afro, the smart one, in front of the Caucasians, whereas the Caucasian really agrees with the one that they're criticizing. We got problems, y'all. All right. Some of us will be able to escape it. The sad part is, not many others will be able to escape it. All right. Because people aren't preparing themselves for what's about to happen. People have as their friends the very people that will destroy them for a little bit of nothing. All right. So you got to be aware of who your friends are. If you're with somebody that's wishy-washy, if you're with somebody that's never done anything for you, but have always done things to you, you shouldn't have them people around. You shouldn't even have people that have never done anything for you around. See, that should be a problem too. A person that has never done anything for you should be an issue, should be a problem. All right? The person that has never done anything for you is waiting to do something to you. You need to get rid of them. Anybody that is too lazy to learn about our real history, they are trying to keep people like me from showing it to y'all, exposing y'all to the true history. They wanted me to take down Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, her stuff, Malcolm X stuff on YouTube. That's supremacy. That's racism. All right? That's racism. By definition, when one race of people have determined to tell you what they're going to define as prejudice or racism. All right, that should be a problem for all of us. But again, we have no representation, whereas every other group have representation that takes the rights that our ancestors gained for us for themselves. And they end up being the majority. So I don't know what to say about that. Because I don't even know any lawyers. I reached out to one when YouTube was first messing with Afro people. And they only reached out to dudes that were part of these secret organizations. You see what I'm saying? There used to be a time when you had a lot of Afro lawyers fight for justice for Afro people. Now you don't have that. Everybody's fighting to jump in the coochie of the BAW. All right. Brothers, let me say this, if I don't say anything else. Again, I tell y'all, when I put stuff up, there's a reason if I put biblical stuff up, I put the scriptures in the video. If I put news articles up, I put the article up, and I put links in the description box. There's a reason for that. It isn't to have y'all follow me. It's to have y'all follow you. You understand? Y'all need to study these things. Y'all need to look at these things. Find out about eugenics. Understand what party and what people were involved in it. These are people that want the extermination of Afro people worldwide. It would behoove you to know what party they're for. When you find out it's the part of the Democratic platform, look up Margaret Sanger. Find out who she is. YouTube don't want this. All right? And I will say this. We got to let the ignorant stay ignorant. Period. We got to let this ignorant stay ignorant. The other group of dudes we need to stay away from is dudes that don't want to get involved into what's right and wrong. Oh, man. Well, I know you right, brother, but getting involved make me uncomfortable. That's our problem. Right there. Getting involved make me a little uncomfortable. So we got a bunch of whacked out sellout simps that don't get involved in helping anybody because it makes them a little uncomfortable. They see a BAW that's wrong. Oh, well, But BAWs will support other BAWs to come and be wrong together before dudes stand up like men and shut them down when they're lying on them and other dudes. Well, no, it's time out for all of that. All right, it's time to either stand up or sit down and stay seated. Don't say nothing to anybody. Don't come up with anybody. Just disappear. Because you are a worthless man if you're not going to stand for the justice and what's right for others. All right. And we already know the BAW are our worst enemies. Our adversaries, dare I say. All right. we got only a few sisters that we can trust. What's up, Aaron Ferris? We only got a few sisters that we can trust. But you always have more wicked than you have good. All right. And I'm all for protecting the good. All right. But we need to stop letting other dudes think for us. Like I keep telling y'all, I put the information out and I put all the resources in the information so that you can go look stuff up for yourself and have your own mind. We as Afro men are not supposed to be monolithic in thought. We supposed to understand some right and wrong was just and unjust. And we should agree on that. But as far as getting ideas together and stuff like that, we should be passing ideas off of each other, iron sharpen iron. With at the core, understanding right and wrong, just and unjust when it comes to us. All right. And we should have enough critical thinking to know when somebody is being honest and putting out truth, or when somebody is putting out bull. And all of us should call bull, bull, and call the truth, truth. All right. We should all come against these simps, not just in groups. If you're dealing with them, like they will jump and gang up on you. When us brothers see that, let's support other brothers. That's correct. Let's support what is true and what is just. We don't do that. But we need to start doing that. Or else things are going to be rough for those that are left behind. Let me see who's this. Hey, Garvin Vern. Hey, no problem, man. All right. We need to have this understanding. We need to have this understanding. All right. One, we need to be critical and skeptical about everything. Skeptical. We need to be critical and skeptical about everything. Two, a copy is not better than the original. Some of the times you can't find out what stuff means is because you're looking from the point of view of the copy and not the original. All right. The best thing for you to do is look for the original. Can't find it? Ask brothers that you think have some knowledge. Hey, you know about the original of such and such and such. Brothers, understand this. The King James Bible is not the original because it's in English. And brothers, we all know that English was not the language of the Shemitic people. Two, the people that go to full church and listen to these pastors are fools. I'm sorry if you're one of them, that's just the truth. Because their belief is what the pastor have it to be. Why? Because he was appointed by the state. When you look at my license, my minister license, I wish I can go back and get it. When you look at it, the people that gave me the authority to marry, to do stuff, is the state. That's why I left that thing up where I left it. See, I started to understand it. So why would I quit? Because I cared about the people. Right? I cared about what I was saying. I'm like, am I misleading people? No, most pastors don't think like that. All right. Brothers, we need to understand the origin of everything. If you're going to see where a book, history book come from, then you should see where all books come from that are nonfiction or fiction, so that you'll have an understanding of the original intent. All right. I'm tired of arguing with fools about science that didn't even bother to take biology in high school. And I realize I need to stop doing that. Because you can't get nothing across to them because they don't want to learn anything. And already they're trying to prove that their ignorance is better than your knowledge. You understand? They're trying to prove their ignorance is better than your knowledge. So it doesn't do any good for us to have discussions with these type of people that don't want to learn. These are the people that pop up to the channel and see that you're putting out data, and then they'll turn away from the data. All right? We don't need this anymore. Brothers, it's time for us to stick together. But in order to stick together, you need to find out who's a real brother and who's not. Real brothers love new knowledge, and they refuse to be mentally lazy. They refuse to be intellectually lazy. Unfortunately, I cannot say this about the old heads. The reason why these BAWs are so out of control, because these dudes didn't want to move because it was just easier to do nothing. And it is always easy to do nothing. It takes work to do something for some people. But like I said, we are intellectually, mentally, and physically lazy. The only thing these dudes are worried about is making some money. But they're not really making a lot of money. What's up, Donnell? They're not really making a lot of money. I tried to teach people about credit. I tried to tell these guys about credit. And they argue with me about credit. Y'all know my score stays near 800s. But these fools will argue with a brother about credit. And they'll tell me, oh, you don't got good credit. And you know what they're basing it off? They're racist against me. And you're like, but, Nabi, you are an Afro man. I'm like, yeah. But when you think my credit isn't good because I say it is, think about that for a second. They will say my credit isn't good because I say it is. I want y'all to fathom that for a moment. Because I say my credit is good, they don't want to believe me. Let me see if y'all can see this real quick. Hold on for a second. All right, let me see if y'all can see this. Okay. So let me do this. I don't know what y'all can see. Somebody tell me what y'all can see. Can y'all see that 787? Can you see the 787? Yeah. Okay. That's my score as it stands to right now. 787. I try to teach y'all how to get it up there, and this is after a bunch of this is after a bunch of purchases. Okay. And so basically, I keep trying to teach people this stuff, right? But the problem is, and you'll see everything that goes with it, right? Let me see. All right. You see these things right here that I'm going to point at. All right. You'll see that. You see that credit usage below 11%? All right. That's key. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go into. All right. Another thing you'll notice is I got 3 zeros. All right. I got 0 late payments ever, 0 in collections, and I have 0 public records. I don't even know what that is. All right. These are things that lift my credit score. On top of that, you can see the oldest account and the average account. Always keep my first credit card, the first credit card I ever got. I've gotten rid of some other credit cards, but never my first one. See, I try to teach people these things, right? But why? I teach people these things because I want brothers to get ahead. But you know who will listen to me before the brothers will? Caucasians. And that's the sad part. When I try to teach this stuff to the brothers, I used to try to teach it to the sisters. They didn't want to hear this. They didn't want to hear this. I was a person that was in the forest at one time. But you know what I did with every bit of large sum of money that came about? I paid off debt. You know why I paid off debt? Because I knew that in the future, my name was going to be more important than some rinky-dink stuff. All right? And now what you have. Now what you have is you have a bunch of dudes and simps that can't get stuff right because they never wanted to listen to people like me that had their best interests at heart, that was looking out. Because if you do something good for us in the Afro community, something got to be wrong with you. I want you to think about that. Something is always wrong with the dude that's trying to help out the community. And then when nobody wants to help the community, people be like, man, why ain't they helping the community? The community, man. Well, now you got your answer. People don't help it because a lot of times what we say fall on deaf ears. And these people really, really, really don't care. To the end, they don't care. They don't care about learning. They don't care about anything. And that's what we're dealing with, y'all. We're dealing with a bunch of ignorant old fools. All right? We're dealing with a bunch of ignorant old fools. We're dealing with a bunch of coochie worshipers. And we're dealing with a bunch of twisted mentality, jacked up people that don't know what they're talking about because they never studied anything. They're just going off of what somebody else told them. And because they like that guy like Passa, right? And let's just make this clear. I'm going to make it clear. The pastors, in many cases, are lying. The pastors, in many cases, are lying to their people. Think about that. They celebrate Christmas, right? Christmas is against the Bible. Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, 4th verse. But you can't tell anybody anything. Right? They say they believe in the commandments, but don't. They say they believe in the Bible, but don't. They don't even read it. That's how much they don't believe in it. They don't read it. All right? So, one, we got to get away from that kind of stuff, and we got to get away from this religiosity, this religion mess, because it's a bunch of bull. All right? It is a bunch of bull. All right? We got to quickly get away from that mess. It's crap. These pastors are crap. And every once in a while, you'll have one that says, you know what? We need to do something different. Unfortunately, that is few and far in between. All right? Brothers, we got to be brothers. We got to stand with other brothers. And we need to get the simps out of our midst. We need to get them old simps out of our midst. Need to get them coochie worshipers out of our midst. And the BAW don't have a say in anything we do. They can follow, but they don't have a say. The only time they get a little bit of a say if they join up with us and then we listen to them, right? But we're not going to go to them to help us solve a solution because that's our job. We solve the solutions. They don't have any say in anything we do. One, they've been an adversary of ours for so long. Think about this. They've been an adversary of ours for so long, and we are just now finding out the damage that has really been done by them. All right. They don't deserve a say. All right. Maybe after we fix stuff and we figure out which ones want to join and submit to our authority, then they will have a say as to what we can do to help them as we solve other issues. All right, but they ain't running crap. All right, not from the good men. They're not running nothing. All right, and let's keep it that way. All right, because we need to get all the spies out of our midst, and the spies start with them. It starts with them. A lot of people's stuff on Facebook is being messed up behind those, right? And their triple S crew. You know, the secret simp society. The simp sellouts and Sambos. All right. Y'all, we got to watch our back on all sides. Period. All right. Me, I'm just not having a mess anymore. Period. I'm tired of these worn out old heads. All right. That just caved into anything and they watch the community suffer and they act like it's not happening because it's not happening to them. It ain't happening to me either, but I see what the damage is doing to children, but they don't care. I've never seen such weakness. It always existed, but I just really never paid it any attention. I thought we didn't know, and we didn't, but I thought we didn't know because information wasn't available. That information was hard to find. And that no one was going to search like I did because I'm earnest about some things. Come to find out there's a lot of earnest brothers. So then what then became the problem? Oh, laziness. All right, these old heads are mentally lazy, spiritually lazy, and some of the times physically lazy. When it comes to dealing with the children in the community that's being the most harmed by all these practices from Facebook, to YouTube, to the BAWs. But the BAWs, that, like they said, the first teacher, the first hand that robs the cradle. Yeah, I said that right. All right. So I'm about to shut this down. Thank y'all for stopping by.
All right. The same simps that allowed this kind of mess seem to be a little disturbed. I don't know what the problem is. These women have always shown who they were, right? A lot of these women went and got knocked up by pastors and deacons all over the place. You got over 70% that prefer to be single mothers than to be a wife. Think about that. Now you have these busted dudes following these failures, trying to prop them up as if they had any worth to the good Afro man. And don't get it twisted. They are now receiving protection and promotion in their further recklessness regarding choices, while the guys that are trying to get people to change their mind for the better are being contained, harassed by the very platforms like YouTube and Facebook that use racist algorithms to do it. Shouldn't be a surprise that these guys are leaving the community alone and going to the other community of women. Oh, by the way, it is a no depolicing zone. With that said, I'm out.